This is the Italian pine nut tree. You know pine nuts?
Yeah.
It's that expensive stuff that they put into pestos and you put it on your food. Yeah. So you look at this tree and see how it's growing.
And it's contorted, like he said.
It's a joke. If you look at that tree, would you say there's something wrong with it?
And it's growing away from the other pine and wants to.
Yeah, that's true. It's looking for the light, but you can't really say it's dying or anything because look at the fresh growth it has. It's definitely looking for. I agree with you. It's struggling a little bit. Actually, it's struggling quite a lot. So you've noticed that, but there's people looking at this and would say they would just walk past and say it's growing, so it's fine. Yeah. This fella here is still a youngster as well, but it's also a Pinus pinea, and it was planted at the same day as the Pinus pinea over there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Thriving.
So you were right. That one, it's not dying, it's far from dying, but it's not thriving either. This one's thriving. Yeah. Now, those creatures, those living units, are expressing the difference between inside and outside. Because the inside, that the vegetables grow. Now, the inside is a descriptive way of explaining what all these living entities are doing together. Yeah, there's a whole lot of living entities out there, but in short, what's out there is more of the same. Grass and grass and grass and grass and clover. And grass and grass and clover. Now, soon as you start identifying the individuals here, you find there's a lot of individuals, a lot of different individuals, but only some are the same, and there's groups that are the same. It's like in a community, you've got groups of people responsible for different things. That's what makes a community, that's what used to make a community work. Different people with different experiences and different skill sets. So what you see around you are different people with different experiences and different skill sets. What do? They work together to buffer. You guys know what buffer is? Yeah. To buffer or level the extremes of the environment. When I say the extremes of the environment, that's a rather vague term. Most of you will probably know, but there's 4 key examples. Water. So water, these individuals and groups working together, they hold the water for much longer than out there. Out there dries out a lot quicker. So summer has a bigger impact out there than summer here. So to go quickly through it, it moderates the water, it moderates the wind or the air, which is important because the wind can be pretty severe here. And you have a day of wind, and the garden and the market garden would be exposed to that day of wind. It sucks all the moisture out of the plants and they would not thrive. No amount of water that I put on a day before is going to make the difference. Well, it will make a difference, but this is a hell of a lot easier. I still said hell. I was going to tone down.
You can say hell, Frank.
Yeah, I was going to use the other word. So water, but also sun, my friend, or warmth. Actually, it's the light and the warmth that is really important. Yep. And what's number 4?
Soil.
Thank you. So that's food. and which is represented as soil. Yeah, but so that's all buffered here. Out there, they all turn into extremes and doesn't cause a thriving situation for what we call our domesticated crops and animals. Because our domesticated crops and animals have grown up in an environment that is buffered by humans and human culture. So that's why they're called domesticated. And the buffer is there to make us comfortable as well. So it's a mutualistic understanding of living. We're a magnet for life. We always knew that if you take this on, guiding life into an abundance, if you take that on, you create responsibility towards the landscape. Yeah, and if you create responsibility towards the landscape will reward you with products. It's rather sad to notice that out there, we started to treat people more and more, and it's speeding up really rapidly. But we start treating people like animals. I think most people will notice that. I can underpin that with science and social aspects as well, but I'll keep it brief. We start treating people more like animals. We start to treat animals more like plants. And we start treating plants more like soil. And in fact, the soil is being treated like dirt. There's a growth disrespect for life and living in our outside world out there. We have to change on the inside and find self-esteem so that we can fight back. Because what is intended to be is an evolution, not a devolution. The soil is not dirt, it's full of life. In fact, it's the essence and the beginning of every life on this planet. And it shows it quite clearly by the microbes and the fungi. The microbes and the fungi are the basis for growth and immunity in the soil, but they're also the basis of growth and immunity in the plants. The microbes are also the basis of growth and immunity in animals, and they're also the basis of growth and immunity in people. Those microbes are not individuals, they are communities. And in me, there's a different community than in you. And in my brother behind me, he's got a different community as well. That's what individuality is about. It's created by the microbes that grow this body or that body. All life deserves respect. From the littlest creature, we live by the grace of those little creatures. They are the first creative living force of this planet. They actually created us from soil. And we go back into the soil so that the next potential can rise up and express itself again by the virtue of those microbes. Getting your hands dirty is quite important. Getting your hands dirty from childhood onwards is quite important. It does a number of different things. It creates skill and it creates a direct relationship with Mother Earth. Dirty nails and putting them in your mouth is actually challenging your immune system and making it stronger. That's the material part of it. You know what this is?
Rubber?
Yeah, it's a synthetic material. It's electrically neutral. It insulates. Yep. What I've just done now is I open the circuit between the soil and my feet. But the reality is, it goes in here and it goes out there. So I've now reconnected with the cosmic, because the cosmic forces will come down, but they're not reaching the soil. We are the conductors of life. So anything that helps aid to make things move is a healthy way, because the definition of life, another definition of life is actually change or dynamic. Yeah, and just by me wearing shoes, I shut down certain dynamics, and they're pretty essential ones. And over time, it shifts the balance in your body, and the weakest link will force you to go to the doctor, and you get a diagnosis from the doctor, and then what you get is a pill based on petrol, but you don't have a deficiency that's going to be solved by a pill based on petrol. You need a community to raise the soil, but you also need a community to raise your children. You really do. And it would be really nice if that community had the lived the respect for life and nature, and that so good examples this makes good followers. Thank you for listening.